What was the other thing I'm gonna say? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Retired Renovators. This is the YouTube channel that my husband Gary and I put together to show you the renovations in our carriage house and big brick house in Paducah, Kentucky. And today we're finishing up the video series on our shower install, focusing today on the shower door because boy, oh boy, did we have some trouble with the shower door. So let me show you what the problem was and what we did about it. So these glass shower doors are very heavy. And if you look at videos on how to install shower glass doors, they always tell you to make sure that you screw them into the wall that has studs or blocking, so you're screwing it into wood. You can't use drywall anchors to hold these doors into the wall. So we've talked about having blocking all over the place. We've been really careful about all of that, and for whatever reason, I have no idea, but for whatever reason, we ended up not having blocking on either side of these walls. So on this wall, it kind of makes sense that we missed it because we had all of our pipes in there and we didn't want things to hit, right? So that kind of makes sense. But as soon as we realized where the door should go, that was in an open space close to the pipe. We didn't have room for a stud to go in there. So we would have preferred to have the door open on this side. We didn't have that option. It had to go on this side because there was no plumbing there. But the fact remains, we also had no stud there. So what to do? And so this is what we came up with. By we, again, I mean Gary, came up with on how to put a blocking stud into your wall without destroying the wall entirely, and carry on. So I thought it was really kind of brilliant. He went up to the attic and made a little hole and took a 2x4 up there and dropped it into this space of this wall. So now we have a loose 2x4 in this wall. And so then the question is, well, how are you going to get it stabilized and attached strong so we can drill into So getting the 2x4 blocking into the wall without destroying the wall was certainly a challenge enough, but there were also challenges with the door itself. So first up, these little plastic things that you have to put on each side and down below to try and keep from the water from going out. Those things need to be adjusted multiple times. So we kept getting a little water coming out and stuff. And so just be aware that you put them on, you might have to move it a little bit. It might not work perfectly. And part of the issue is you're trying, when you set your door up, you want it as close to each other as it can be and as even here, but there also has to be enough of a gap to get these in. And so, you can try to be perfect. It's a lot harder than we thought it might be. Now, I had mentioned before how difficult it is working with porcelain, and when you're making holes in porcelain, that is certainly the case, and this was the case in drilling. You're drilling 8 holes to put the hinges into the wall, and each hole took about 30 minutes to drill, and so make sure you have the right drill bit for that and work slowly, and it just takes a long time. These doors are incredibly heavy, and so it all hinges, pun intended, on how you put the hinges together. And so this took us a lot of trial and error to get this right. We thought we had everything fine. We installed the door, and after 3 or 4 uses, the door kept slipping, and we'd see that it wasn't matching anymore. And we finally figured out that the screws in the hinges were not in tight enough. So we went back and looked at some videos to see what was going on, and we discovered this is a very simple solution, but it's really critical. You've got to use thread locker on the screws as you tie them in, so that will lock them in. You can get it at any hardware store, super cheap, but you've got to use the thread locker. So that was one, and you've got to tighten them really tightly, and you don't have to be worried about breaking the glass. This tempered glass is incredibly strong, so get those screwed on as much as you can. And the little plastic stuff that you can use to get these holes in better is actually really important, and so pay attention to that. Again, it's a lot of trial and error. Recommend that you watch a bunch of videos to see how it's done, and don't despair. You can do it. If you would take just a second and hit the subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Trying to grow this channel, trying to figure out what all this analytics with Google, YouTube means and all that kind of stuff. And so more subscribers help with the analytics, so really appreciate if you would take just a second and hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, we're not going to come after you, no worries about that. But it would just help us know that there are people out there who are watching the channel. Give us a thumbs up too. All right, thanks. See you next time.